How's it going, guys? Long time no see. It's been a while. It's been probably, I don't know, 5 months or so since I posted a video. I'm in my new house. I don't think I've been on here since my wife and I moved. All my stuff is in the basement, trades and things there. All my single issues are over here. Got a pretty good setup. I'll probably show it. I don't know. I'll show it sometime. But I'm here to talk about new books for the month of April. I'm 100% discount comic book service now, saving money, getting more books than usual just because I'm getting them at a little bit of a discount. I think my order this month had 40-ish books plus a couple trades. So, you know, about 10 books a week or so. With DC double shipping and stuff like that, it's nice to be able to save a little bit so I can continue to get as many books as I'm accustomed to. So, I don't know. Let's start with the DC books, and then we'll go from there. I've kind of dropped off quite a few Rebirth series. I don't know if I've posted a video since I've been picking up a lot of these DC books, but I dropped probably 3 or 4 books for this month. That's the only downside with discount comic book service is that you're a little bit behind. So I'm getting some issues of books that I've already dropped. Justice League of America is a book that I'm not going to be reading anymore. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be. The team is cool enough. I like Lobo. That's number 3. Number 4. And I think number 5 is the beginning of a new arc. So maybe I'll check out issue 5. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But just haven't been super crazy about it so far. The only Young Animal book that I'm still picking up is Doom Patrol. I don't think I've been totally crazy about it. The art is really good. The Nick Darrington art is fantastic. The release schedule's a little weird. It only comes out once every 2 months or so. I think the last 2 issues have been fairly consistent, but I'm going to continue with it, but I'm just not super crazy about it. Book that I do like a lot is The Wildstorm. This is issue number 3. Warren Ellis writing. The John Davis Hunt art is fantastic. I liked the first issue, liked the second one much more so. Seemed like we got a little bit more development, and it's a little bit clearer where this story is going. I don't know if this numbering at the top suggests that it's going for 24 issues. Says 1 through 24 at the top, and the issue number is marked off. So 24 issues seems like a pretty decent size run. So looking forward to that. Detective Comics. There's another issue of it in here somewhere. Actually, accidentally ordered 2 copies of 955, and this is 954. This League of Shadows story is continuing with the focus on Cassandra Cain. I've been less crazy about Detective Comics over the last like 4 or 5 issues than I was at the start of it. That 2-issue Batwoman story arc was actually really good, but I'll stick on this. Wait for it to get back to where it was. James Tynion writing. So I got The Flash. This is number 20. The Flash has been a book that I've really enjoyed. Joshua Williamson writing, and I forget who normally does the art, but really cool interactions and stuff between Wally and between Kid Flash and Barry. So looking forward to that. And then the big 2 this month, Batman number 21 and Flash number 21. The part 1 and part 2 of The Button. I got the lenticular covers because I'm a sucker. I don't even know if you can see it on camera. He's like, this one has Batman and Flash that switch back and forth. So I'm not reading Batman anymore, but jumped back on for this series. I'm a gigantic fan of Watchmen. I'm kind of reluctant. Hopefully they don't do something stupid with Dr. Manhattan, but we'll see. I'm on board. Book that I've really enjoyed is Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. This month we got number 18 and number 19. I was also reading Green Lanterns, the Simon Baz and Jessica Cruz book, but I feel like nothing significant happened in that book up to this point. I mean, we're like 20 issues in. So I dropped that one in favor of the Hal Jordan book. If I hear that the other one gets better, I'll jump back on. But this is really what I want out of a Green Lantern book. They're in space. It's epic in feel. There's tons of characters involved. It's really, really what Green Lantern is to me. So, and then we've got Green Arrow. This is number 20. And number 21. 20 is the end of this Roy Harper story, which I actually enjoyed the last issue. And then we get a new story arc, The Rise of Star City. This has been a pretty good book, not great. I like Green Arrow, so I'm going to continue to get that. If I didn't have an affinity for the character, I wouldn't be reading it. It hasn't been super great. A book that has been great, my favorite DC book by far, has been Superman. This is Black Dawn, Part 1, which is a surprise for me. I mean, I like Superman, but I'm not super crazy about Superman. I'll read pretty much anything that Tomasi and Gleason do together, though. And this is number 20 and number 21, parts 1 and 2 of Black Dawn. And then another DC book that's been fantastic, we're only 3 issues in, but it's been really good, is Super Sons. Really awesome to see the Thomas Wayne, Damian Wayne interactions. Looks like they're fighting Kid Amazo in this issue, so we'll see. Written by Tomasi. Okay, so that's all for the DC books. Got some independent books. I'll do the trades first. They're both independent. This is a book I used to be reading in single issues, but I dropped off in favor of the trades, is Deadly Class. Deadly Class is an awesome book. It's one of my favorite series coming out right now. I mean, it's no secret that I love pretty much everything that Rick Remender does. But definitely looking forward to reading volume number 5. I think Marcus is kind of gone at this point. All the characters that kind of ran away at the end of volume 4 are kind of out of the book, and we have some new characters at the center, which is interesting to me. So always looking forward to reading Deadly Class. Wes Craig's art is fantastic. And then this has been solicited for a couple months. I think I ordered this maybe 2 months ago, and it finally shipped. This is Hellboy Into the Silent Sea. Every once in a while, they'll do these hardcover original graphic novels, and I pick them up every time. They're fantastic. We have Gary Gianni on art, apparently written by Mike Mignola, even though he was apparently done writing comic books forever ago. Maybe they just have so much stuff like in the pipeline that it's going to be another year before his name's actually not on things anymore. But also heard that Hellboy in Hell is getting library editions, which is going to be awesome. I'm going to pick those up. And BPRD Hell on Earth is getting the hardcovers the same way that Plague of Frogs did. So very excited. I'm not reading much Hellboy stuff in single issues anymore, but I have everything that ever came out in trade. I think it just reads better that way. And then a lot of independent books. I mean, that's usually how it is for me. These aren't sorted in any way. It's just kind of random. This is Exo Manowar number 2, the only Valiant book that I read. And the first issue was pretty good. It's written by Matt Kint, so that's why I'm giving it a shot. It's kind of on a short leash, though. I don't know how long I'll stick with it. They're kind of rebooting it after that long-running last series, which I think Vendetti did a lot of the writing on. Book that's been fantastic. One of my favorite books coming out right now is Kill or Be Killed, written by Ed Brubaker. Art is by Sean Phillips. Sean Phillips' art is fantastic. It's kind of a different take, different type of story than what they normally do, but probably my favorite thing that they have done together. And not surprised by that because I like pretty much everything that they do, but it's been absolutely fantastic. Book that I think reads better in trade because I have the trades as well. We don't get a ton. Each issue is Paper Girls. It looks fantastic. The story is interesting. We just don't get a ton of progression in each issue. This is number 13. The covers are always super awesome, though, and I'll stick with that one. This book's been really good. This is Motor Girl number 5, written by Terry Moore. Giant fan of Terry Moore. I'll pick up pretty much anything that he does. This is kind of a sci-fi-ish story. Our main character, Sam, clearly has some PTSD issues. It's not entirely clear what in the book is actually happening and what in the book she's hallucinating. So we should get some more clarity as we continue on. But big fan of Terry Moore. Another book that seems like it's been kind of sputtering lately is Department H. It's not bad, but I'm not as interested in it as I once was. It's Matt Kint drawn and written, so I'll probably continue to stick with it. Mind Management is a book that I really enjoy, but it just doesn't seem like we get very much in every issue, and I always find myself having to go back and reread the previous issue, which is kind of a bad sign. So, but we're on issue 13 now, so I'll probably continue with that. This book has been awesome. This is 7 to Eternity, number 5. I think that the art, I'm much more of a fan of the art than the story, which is kind of surprising because I'm a gigantic Rick Remender fan. But Jerome Opeña's art is fantastic. If you're reading this book and you like it, check out Fear Agent. They did a lot of that together. I'm a massive fan of Fear Agent as well. But this is much more of a fantasy story than I think I've ever read from Rick Remender. Definitely would recommend checking that out. Written by Matt Kint, drawn by Tyler Jenkins. This is issue number 2 of Grass Kings. Really liked the first issue, kind of about this secluded society. There was apparently, if I remember correctly, a murder that took place there in the first issue. The Tyler Jenkins art is really awesome, and the covers are like hard stock. Definitely would recommend checking out this book. It's been really good. At least the first issue was really good. This is a 8-issue mini, I think. This, for some reason, I got 2 issues in a month. One must have come out the last month of March. This is Hadrian's Wall, number 5 and number 6, written by Kyle Higgins, who I'm not super familiar with. I haven't read a ton of his stuff, but this is really, really good. It's about a murder that took place on a satellite, and our main character goes up to investigate. With this new arc, with issue 5, the game changes completely. What we thought the story was turns out to really not be it at all. There's some rebels from a colony that have now come into the story and kind of changed everything. So definitely would recommend checking out Hadrian's Wall. I mean, it's 6 issues in, so maybe once a trade comes out, would recommend it. We got a number 1. This is World Reader from Aftershock. This is written by Jeff Loveness. Art is by Juan Doe. It's about this girl with a group of people who are sort of going around and investigating like civilizations in space that are no longer there. And she, for some reason, can kind of see what happened and kind of latch on to someone who was there before. Really cool. The art is fantastic. Definitely would recommend checking this one out. The variant cover for this book was awesome. I almost ordered it from Discount Comic Book Service, and now it's going for like $1 million. More like $50, but would recommend checking that out. It's probably my favorite Aftershock book that I've read so far. Animosity is pretty good too, but big fan of that first issue. And I really like this, surprisingly. This is The Sovereigns, number 0. I don't really know what's going on with this. This is written by a couple different people. I think Ray Fox does the majority of the writing on this Sovereign story. We also get a bunch of small stories. Magnus Robot Fighter, Turok's in this, Solar Man of the Atom, Dr. Spectre. They're kind of mashing everything together. I think they're relaunching a lot of those other books, but The Sovereigns is going to be an ongoing, and I think I'm going to check it out. If we get some information about all the different Gold Key characters, I'll definitely be on board for that. Like I said, really surprised that I enjoyed that as much as I did. I mean, this issue was $1, so that's why I picked it up, and really glad that I did. I've read this one already. This is Green Valley, number 7, written by, who does this? Max Landis. This started as like a really straightforward fantasy book, and now it's turned into like a fantasy/sci-fi book. It got really weird. It's okay. I'm not super crazy about it. The art is good. I mean, but we're on issue 7 of 9 at this point, so I'm going to continue to read it. Like our very straightforward, like fantasy style knight characters at the beginning of this book sort of come up against this time traveler who's there from the future, and they kind of start to experience things from the future, and this issue doesn't necessarily make sense to me. I won't get into it too much, but they seem to understand more than you would expect someone from medieval times to understand about the future. So, like I said, reading this book in trade now, but still getting some of the singles. This is Deadly Class, number 7. awesome as always. Black Science, number 29, Rick Remender. I don't know how many times I've talked about this book. I don't need to continue to talk about this book. Matteo Scalera's art is awesome. Would recommend. This is a new number 1 that I wasn't super crazy about. It's interesting, but not my style. This is Jason Latour writing. Black Cloud. I think Ivan Brandon is also helping on the writing. Art is by Greg Hinkle, I'm assuming. I don't have any other issues of this ordered. What I usually do is just order the first issue. If I'm crazy about it, I'll go to the shop and pick up the issues until I can get caught up with the ordering. That's what I did with this book. This is The Old Guard, number 2. Ordered number 1. Really liked it. I'm going to have to pick up the next 2 issues from the shop. But written by Greg Rucka. Art is by Leonardo Fernandez, I believe. It has a really interesting look to it. It's about these characters that can't die, and they've obviously been living for a long time. They have an interesting relationship between the 4 of them. Interesting interactions. Would recommend checking this book out. Another one of my favorite books is Black Hammer. This is number 8, written by Jeff Lemire, and the art is by Dean Ormstrom. The art is really like the reason to buy this book. The writing is good. Jeff Lemire's writing is usually good, but the art is absolutely fantastic. These golden age heroes that got stuck on this remote farm and are kind of having to pretend that they're not superheroes, and they're trying to find their way out. And this is the last independent book that I got for this month. This is Royal City, number 2, written and drawn by Jeff Lemire. Things that are written and drawn by Jeff Lemire I'll generally pick up, but I really liked the first issue. Looking forward to getting into more of this. I mean, if you're familiar with Jeff Lemire's art, you know what you're getting into. And for some reason, I expected the 3rd issue of AD After Death, the Scott Snyder and Jeff Lemire book. I don't know if that got like super delayed. It feels like it's been like 3 months since that book came out. But then I got a small stack of Marvel books. I wasn't reading a whole lot of Marvel books, just Old Man Logan for a while. But with this relaunch, they're kind of restarting a lot of X-Men books. I'm gonna give them a shot again. I mean, you know that my favorite Marvel characters are definitely the X-Men. Pretty much everything that I collect as far as back issues go, pretty much exclusively X-Men stuff. A lot of my back issue reading is like exclusively X-Men. So wanted to get into some new books, check them out. I'll probably pick up all the number 1s, see if they're good, and we'll go from there. Picked up Weapon X number 1, written by Greg Pak. Art is by Greg Land, which is gross. So we'll see. The story's going to have to be fantastic in order for me to pay $4 an issue for this book. But there's interesting characters, Old Man Logan and Domino and Warpath, Lady Deathstrike, and Sabretooth. So I think actually this came out last month and number 2 came out this month. I don't have number 2, so if I'm crazy about this, I'm going to have to go back and grab that other one. And then 2 issues each of Old Man Logan. These past lives covers are fantastic. This is super awesome. No Andrea Sorrentino art in this. It's Eric Nguyen art along with Jeff Lemire. I don't know. I think Jeff Lemire's dropping off this book for some reason at issue 25. So this might be the last Lemire story arc. But if you're going to read one Marvel book, go back and read one Marvel book. Old Man Logan would be the one that I would suggest out of the current books. It's been really good. And then the 2 new books, this is X-Men Gold number 1. This is more of like the Claremont era X-Men team with Nightcrawler, Colossus, Storm, Kitty Pryde, Old Man Logan, and Rachel Summers is in this too for some reason. Seems like she's a weird addition, but whatever. Written by Guggenheim, who I'm not familiar with. Adrian Saif's doing the art, and looking forward to getting into that. I haven't read either of these yet, either of the new X-Men books. And then this is X-Men Blue, number 1. This is the original team, which I'm kind of sick of them at this point. They've been in essentially everything for the last, 3 years of X-Men books since All New X-Men came out. Written by Cullen Bunn. I don't know his first name, Melina, doing the art. The art looks kind of weird in the first issue. There are some spots where like right here, Jean Grey looks really strange. So we'll see. I think I'm going to stick with these books anyway, and I'll probably be picking up the Charles Soule X-Men book whenever that starts. Astonishing, even though I'm really worried about the like rotating artists. We'll see what happens, but I got to get these books read and decide whether or not I want to continue with them. So anyway, that's all the books that I picked up. I mean, this is a 20-minute video at this point. Reading lots of good books. I've got lots of good stuff to read here. I might post a video showing up off the new setup, or maybe I'll post a back issue video like in a week or so. Like I said, been picking up a lot of X-Men books, doing a lot of X-Men back issue reading, so might show some stuff off there. Also picked up a couple of trades today too, so we'll see. But anyway, for anybody who watches this, I know I've been gone for a long time, and I know that you know, I come back very sporadically. I appreciate everybody who still subscribed to me, everybody who still watches the videos. You guys are the reason why I do this. So anyway, thanks guys. I'll talk to you again soon.